Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I'm so honored to be with you today, and I want to talk to you about something that's been stirring in my heart lately. God hides you for a reason. You see, there are seasons in life when it feels like God has pulled you out of the spotlight, when it seems like others are moving ahead and you're left in the background, unnoticed, unseen, or even unappreciated. But I want to remind you today that God is not hiding you to punish you. He's hiding you for a reason. When we're hidden, we can't always see what's going on behind the scenes, but I want you to remember that God's timing is perfect. You may be wondering why it feels like you're not advancing as fast as you'd like, why the doors aren't opening yet, or why things are taking longer than you expected. But let me tell you, God's timing is always right, and He's never late. In those moments when we feel overlooked, God is preparing us for something greater. Just as a seed grows in the dark soil, God uses hidden seasons to develop your character and your faith. This is where the real growth happens. You may not see it now, but He is working in you, building your strength, increasing your patience, and preparing you for the future He has for you. God hides you sometimes for protection. He sees the dangers, the distractions, the wrong relationships, the wrong opportunities that you can't see. In His love and wisdom, He keeps you hidden until it's safe for you to step forward. There's no need to be discouraged in these seasons of waiting. God is shielding you and protecting your future. But here's the key: just because you're hidden doesn't mean you're insignificant. In fact, the most powerful moves of God often happen in the quiet places where no one is looking. There's an invisible work taking place, work on your heart, work on your mind, work on your spirit. You're being shaped for something that's bigger than you can imagine. Remember, the hidden place is not a place of failure, it's a place of preparation. It's in these hidden moments that God is making you strong, wise, and capable of handling the blessings that are coming your way. So when you feel like you're in the background, don't rush the process. Embrace it, trust it. God is using this time to perfect you for the path ahead. You may wonder, why does it feel like everyone else is getting their breakthrough and I'm still waiting? But let me assure you, your time is coming. When God reveals you, you'll be ready. He's building you to handle the weight of your future success with grace and confidence. When your moment comes, it will be worth the wait. God knows exactly when to lift the curtain and let you step into your purpose. And when that day comes, you'll be amazed at how everything fits together. All the hidden seasons, all the preparation, all the lessons learned will make sense. So today, if you're in a season where it feels like God has hidden you, I want you to be encouraged. God hides you for a reason. Trust that He is working behind the scenes. Trust that He's preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine. And know that the best is yet to come. God's timing is perfect. It's a phrase we often hear, but understanding it deeply can transform how we view our lives and the challenges we face. We live in a world where everything seems to move at lightning speed. We expect instant results, quick fixes, and immediate answers. The truth, however, is that life doesn't always unfold according to our timelines. Sometimes we find ourselves waiting, uncertain, or feeling like we've been overlooked. But here's the reality: God's timing is never off. It's always on time, and it's always for our good. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't happen as quickly as we want them to. Maybe you've been working hard at something for years, and it feels like no progress is being made. Maybe you've prayed for something, hoped for something, or dreamed about something for so long, and yet it seems like it's still out of reach. But I want to remind you that God sees the big picture in ways we can't. He knows what you need when you need it and why you need it. When God delays something in your life, it's not because He's punishing you or because He's forgotten about you. It's because He's setting things up for you in the right way and at the right time. God's perfect timing often means that we have to wait. And waiting is never easy. It challenges us, stretches us, and sometimes makes us question whether things will ever change. But I want you to think about this: waiting is not wasted time. It's a season of preparation. During the waiting, God is refining us, building our patience, increasing our faith, and teaching us to trust Him more deeply. We may not see it in the moment, but waiting is one of the most powerful ways God works in our lives. It's in the waiting that we grow into the people we need to be to handle the blessings He has prepared for us. Take a moment to reflect on all the times in your life when you wanted something right away, Perhaps it was a job, a relationship, a breakthrough, or a dream. When you look back, can you see how God's delay actually worked in your favor? Maybe you weren't ready for that job yet, or you didn't have the wisdom to handle that relationship. Maybe there were lessons you needed to learn, character traits you needed to develop, or a deeper trust you needed to build. God knew that what you wanted wasn't just about the outcome, it was about the person you were becoming in the process. We often hear stories about people who faced incredible delays before seeing their dreams come true. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He was given a dream of greatness, but for years, it seemed like his life was moving in the opposite direction. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. But through it all, God was working behind the scenes. It was in the waiting, the isolation, and the uncertainty that Joseph's character was refined. When the time came, God lifted him up and placed him in a position of great authority. If Joseph had been elevated too soon, he wouldn't have been ready for the responsibility or the challenges that came with that position. God's timing is perfect. So don't be discouraged in your waiting. Don't lose hope when things don't happen immediately. Trust that God knows exactly what He's doing. He's preparing you for something better, something greater, something that you may not be able to see yet, but will be revealed in His perfect timing. Keep your faith strong. Keep trusting. And keep believing that when your time comes, it will be worth every moment of waiting. God's timing is perfect. And when it unfolds, it will be exactly what you need at exactly the right moment. A season of preparation is often not the easiest time in life, but it's one of the most important. We all go through periods when things feel like they're on pause, when progress seems slow, and when it seems like nothing is happening. During these times, it's easy to get discouraged, especially when we're so accustomed to immediate results and instant gratification. But if we could see what God sees, we would understand that these seasons are not wasted time. They are times of growth, strengthening, and transformation. They are times when God is preparing us for something greater than we could ever imagine. When we go through a season of preparation, it often feels like we're being put on the shelf, set aside, or even hidden. But what we may not realize in the moment is that this is God's way of getting us ready for something significant. Think about how an athlete trains for a major competition. They don't just show up on race day and expect to perform at their best. They train for months, sometimes years, perfecting their skills, building their strength, and honing their technique. The same is true for us. God allows us to go through seasons of preparation to build our spiritual muscles, deepen our faith, and refine our character. These are the times when God is shaping us into the people we need to be to handle the blessings He has in store for us. In the waiting, God is not being silent or inactive. He is doing deep work in us, even though we may not always see the immediate results. In fact, some of the most valuable work happens beneath the surface where no one can see. Just like a seed grows in the dark soil, unseen and out of sight, the growth that happens in our hearts often goes unnoticed by the world around us. But that doesn't make it any less real. The seasons of preparation are where God develops the qualities we will need for the future: patience, perseverance, humility, and trust. We may be asking God for promotion, for breakthrough, or for new opportunities, but before He opens those doors, He needs to make sure we are ready to step through them. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He was given a dream of greatness, but for many years it seemed like the opposite was happening. He was sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. It looked like his life was going nowhere, yet during that time, God was preparing him for his future role as a leader in Egypt. The hardships he endured were not a punishment, but a part of his training. God was developing Joseph's character, teaching him humility, and preparing him for the responsibility that would come with his position. The season of preparation in Joseph's life was long and difficult, but it was essential for his destiny. During our own seasons of preparation, it's important to trust that God knows what He's doing, even when we don't. When we feel like we're in a holding pattern, it's not the time to get discouraged or give up. It's the time to lean into the process, to allow God to do His work in us. We need to understand that while it may seem like nothing is happening, God is preparing us for something extraordinary. The things we're learning today, the lessons, the trials, the growth will be the very things that enable us to succeed in the future. So instead of resisting the season of preparation, let's embrace it. Let's trust that God is shaping us, refining us, and positioning us for what's next. God's timing and preparation are always perfect. The season you're in right now is not a setback, it's a setup. God is getting you ready for what's to come, and when the time is right, you will be more than prepared to step into the destiny He has for you. Keep pressing forward, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Trust that the seeds being planted in this season will eventually bear fruit in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. There are moments in life when we feel overlooked, hidden, or even abandoned, as if we're being passed over while others seem to be moving forward with their lives. We see people around us achieving their goals, reaching new heights, and stepping into the spotlight while we remain in the background, uncertain of what's happening or why we're not advancing in the same way. During these times, it's easy to feel frustrated, questioning why we're not being seen or acknowledged. But it's important to recognize that there's a divine purpose behind these seasons of being hidden. God often hides us for our protection. When we feel like we're in a holding pattern, it may not be a punishment or a sign that we're doing something wrong. On the contrary, God may be intentionally shielding us from harm, danger, or situations we're not yet ready for. There are circumstances, people, or opportunities that could be detrimental to our future, and God, in His wisdom, knows when to hold us back, even when we don't understand it. His decision to hide us is not out of neglect, but out of love and protection. We might not see the reasons in the moment, but God in His infinite understanding can see things we cannot. Consider the example of a child who wants to run outside and play, but the parent knows that a storm is coming. The child may be upset, frustrated, or even confused by the parent's decision to keep them inside. All they want is to be free and play, but the parent knows that keeping them inside is the best option for their safety. Similarly, God, our Heavenly Father, sees the storms in our lives, the challenges, the distractions, the dangers that lie ahead, and He protects us from them by keeping us in a season of hiddenness. Sometimes it's not that we're unworthy of being seen or that we lack the potential, but rather it's because we're being hidden for a higher purpose. Perhaps there are relationships that aren't in alignment with God's plan for us, or opportunities that would take us down a path we're not ready to walk yet. At times we may desire something, whether it's a promotion, a relationship, or a breakthrough, only to find that it doesn't materialize when we expect it. This waiting period can feel like stagnation, but in reality it's God's way of protecting us from rushing into something that could derail our future. He knows that the right opportunities will come at the right time, and until then He holds us back for our own protection. Consider the story of David in the Bible. He was anointed by God to be king of Israel, but after his anointing, his life seemed to go in the opposite direction. Instead of stepping into the throne immediately, he faced years of running from King Saul, living in hiding, and enduring tremendous hardship. Yet during that time, God was protecting David. Had he ascended to the throne prematurely, he might not have been prepared to lead, and he certainly wouldn't have had the wisdom that comes from enduring hardship. David's hidden years were a time of personal development, strength, and preparation. God was not punishing David by hiding him. He was preparing him for the greatness that was to come. It's also worth noting that God hides us for our emotional, mental, and spiritual protection. The world can be a place of immense pressure, competition, and comparison. In the spotlight, we can be vulnerable to criticism, jealousy, or temptation. If we were thrust into situations for which we weren't emotionally or spiritually ready, the weight of public opinion or the demands of the position could overwhelm us. When God hides us, He's not just protecting us from physical dangers, but also guarding our hearts from pride, insecurity, and anything that could pull us away from His will. It's important to remember that the process of being hidden is not about rejection, it's about preparation. In these times, God is refining us, building our character, and strengthening our resilience. He is teaching us to trust Him fully and to rely on His timing, knowing that when He lifts us from our season of hiddenness, we will be fully equipped for the next chapter of our lives. So if you find yourself in a hidden season right now, be encouraged. Trust that God is working behind the scenes, protecting you from things you may not even see or understand. His ways are higher than our ways, and His protection is perfect. The doors that are closed now are not closed forever. They are simply being held shut by a loving God who wants to ensure that when your time comes, you are ready for all that He has prepared for you. Rest in the knowledge that being hidden is not a punishment. It's God's way of loving and protecting you for what's ahead. Growth in the quiet can often be the most profound kind of growth. It's easy to think that growth only happens when we are in the spotlight, when we're moving forward at a fast pace, and when we're receiving recognition or accolades. We tend to measure success by the noise around us, the applause, the visible progress, the external achievements. But the truth is, some of the most significant growth happens in the quiet, in the times when it feels like nothing is happening at all. In the stillness, in the waiting, and in the unseen moments, God is doing a deep and powerful work in our hearts, preparing us for what's ahead. When we find ourselves in seasons of quiet, when it seems like there's no movement, no breakthrough, and no outward sign of progress, it's easy to get discouraged. We may wonder if we're on the right path, if our efforts are in vain, or if God has forgotten about us. But it's precisely in these quiet seasons that God works in ways we may not immediately recognize. Just as seeds grow in the dark, hidden from sight, our character, faith, and inner strength are being cultivated during these times of waiting and quietness. Think about the growth that takes place in nature. A seed is planted in the soil, and for weeks, even months, it appears to be doing nothing. We can't see it, and we can't measure its growth. But underneath the surface, the seed is being nourished, its roots are spreading, and it's gradually developing into a plant. If we pull that seed up too soon, we will disrupt its growth. Similarly, our own growth happens beneath the surface in the quiet moments when we can't always see the results immediately. In these quiet seasons, God is building a foundation in us. He's teaching us patience, perseverance, and trust. We're learning to rely on Him, not on external validation or immediate results. The quiet gives us time to reflect, to grow in wisdom, and to deepen our relationship with God. It's in these moments of solitude that we hear His voice more clearly because there are fewer distractions, fewer demands, and fewer voices competing for our attention. In the quiet, God is shaping our hearts, refining our attitudes, and preparing us for the future. It's also in the quiet that we learn to appreciate the small victories, the incremental progress, and the lessons that come with the journey. In a world that glorifies quick results, we often overlook the value of the slow, steady growth that happens over time. But just as a tree doesn't grow overnight, neither do we. Growth takes time, and sometimes it's in the slow, quiet process that we gain the most valuable lessons, the ones that will last a lifetime. The quiet also allows us to rest. In our busy world, we are constantly on the go, constantly striving to achieve, to prove ourselves, and to meet expectations. But God, in His wisdom, knows that we need time to rest and recharge. The quiet seasons provide space for us to stop, to breathe, and to let God restore us. It's in these moments of rest that we find our strength renewed, our minds refreshed, and our spirits uplifted. So if you find yourself in a quiet season today, take heart. Know that God is doing something in you, even if you can't see it right now. Trust that growth is happening beneath the surface. Don't be discouraged by the silence or the stillness. In time, the fruits of this quiet growth will emerge, and you will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next season of your life. Growth in the quiet is not wasted. It's the foundation for everything that is to come. Invisible doesn't mean unimportant. In a world that often measures success by visibility, by the likes, the shares, the awards, and the recognition, it's easy to feel overlooked when we aren't in the spotlight. We may look around and see others achieving success, getting attention, or stepping into roles of influence while we seem to be quietly going about our business, unnoticed and undervalued. But it's important to understand that just because something or someone is invisible, it doesn't mean they lack value. In fact, the most impactful work often happens behind the scenes, away from the public eye. Consider the foundation of a building. It's unseen, buried beneath the surface, but without it, the entire structure would collapse. The foundation is the most important part, even though no one notices it once the building is completed. Similarly, the work that happens behind the scenes in our lives, the things that are invisible to others, are often the most vital parts of our growth and purpose. Just because no one sees the work you're putting in doesn't mean it's not making a difference. Just because you aren't being recognized doesn't mean you aren't valuable. We often hear about the overnight successes in the media, but the truth is, these successes are rarely as quick or effortless as they seem. Behind every public achievement is a long story of hard work, perseverance, and preparation that goes unnoticed. Many successful people spent years in obscurity, building their skills, working on their craft, and growing their character before they ever received recognition. Their journey was invisible to the world, but it was still important. The same is true for each of us. The work you are doing now, even if it seems invisible, is part of the foundation for your future success. It's easy to compare ourselves to others, especially in today's world of social media, where everyone's highlight reel is front and center. We see the successes, the celebrations, the promotions, and the public recognition, and we begin to feel like we are somehow lacking or left behind. But remember, just because someone else's path is visible doesn't mean yours is any less significant. In fact, God often works in ways that are hidden from public view. He is using your invisible season to prepare you, to shape you, and to strengthen you for what lies ahead. The time you spend behind the scenes, whether it's learning, growing, or quietly serving, matters just as much, if not more, than the visible results. Invisible doesn't mean unimportant also applies to the roles we play in the lives of others. Think about the people who may not be in the spotlight, but who have played a crucial role in your life: parents, mentors, friends, or even people you may not know who have helped you along the way. Their work was often invisible, but without them you would not be where you are today. The value of their influence is immeasurable, even if it wasn't immediately acknowledged. In the same way, the contributions you make, even if no one else sees them, are incredibly important. You may not receive praise or recognition for everything you do, but God sees it and He values it deeply. The hidden place is a place of safety. In our lives, there are seasons when we feel unseen, as if we are being set aside or overlooked. We might be waiting for a promotion, a breakthrough, or an opportunity, and it can feel as though things are moving forward for everyone else except for us. During these times, it's easy to believe that we're being neglected or forgotten. However, it's important to recognize that sometimes God hides us not to punish us, but to protect us. When we are hidden, God often has a purpose we may not fully understand. Just as a parent might keep their child safe from danger by shielding them from something harmful, God sometimes places us in a hidden season to protect us from situations or people that could harm us. There are circumstances, relationships, or opportunities that on the surface may seem appealing or desirable, but God in His wisdom knows what is best for us. He sees what we cannot see, the things that might harm our future, distract us from our purpose, or lead us down paths we aren't ready for. And so in His love, He hides us. The hidden place is a place of safety because it is a place where we are shielded from those things. Think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph was given a dream of greatness, but before he ever saw that dream fulfilled, he spent many years in hiding in prison, in slavery, and in the wilderness. From a human perspective, it seemed like his dreams were being delayed, that his life was going nowhere. But in reality, during those hidden years, God was protecting him and preparing him for the greater purpose that lay ahead. Had Joseph been elevated too soon, he might not have been equipped for the responsibility and challenges that would come with his position. The time of hiding wasn't a setback, it was God's way of preparing Joseph for what was to come. It was a place of safety, even though it didn't always feel like it in the moment. Sometimes we need to be hidden because we are not yet ready for what we're asking for. God knows the perfect timing for everything, and He knows that when we step into a season of opportunity or responsibility too early, we may not have the maturity or wisdom to handle it. Just as a plant needs time to grow roots before it can bear fruit, we need time to grow in our faith, our character, and our understanding of God's purpose for our lives. In the hidden place, God is building our foundation, preparing us for the next season, and keeping us safe from being overwhelmed by things we are not yet equipped to handle. Moreover, the hidden place is often a time of rest and renewal. In the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to become exhausted, burnt out, or distracted. God, in His mercy, sometimes hides us to give us a break, to help us recharge, and to bring us back to a place of peace and focus. We live in a world that constantly demands more of us, but God knows that we need time to be still, to listen, and to let Him heal our hearts. In the hidden place, we are not just protected from the world, we are protected from ourselves, from our own tendency to overextend or push forward too quickly. So if you find yourself in a season where it feels like you're hidden, know that this is not a time of punishment or neglect. It's a time of preparation and protection. God is watching over you, shielding you from what you cannot see and preparing you for what is to come. Trust that His timing is perfect and that when the time is right, He will reveal you in His way and in His time. The hidden place is a place of safety where God can shake you, strengthen you, and get you ready for all that He has planned for your future. Stay faithful in the waiting, for the safety and protection you experience now will lead to greater opportunities and blessings in the days ahead. Trusting the process can be one of the most challenging yet rewarding things we do in life. We live in a world that often celebrates immediate results, fast success, and quick fixes. We see stories of people who achieve great things overnight, and it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that progress should always be fast and visible. But in reality, most of life's significant growth and breakthroughs come not from rushing through the process, but from trusting it. The process of growth, healing, and progress often takes time. It's a journey that involves both forward momentum and setbacks, moments of clarity and confusion, and times when we feel like we're making great strides, only to find ourselves in a season of waiting. Trusting the process means embracing this ebb and flow, knowing that every step, whether it feels like a step forward or a step back, is part of the bigger picture that God is working out for our lives. In the Bible, we see countless examples of people who had to trust God's process even when it didn't make sense to them at the time. Take Abraham, for instance. God promised him that he would be the father of many nations, but for years he and his wife Sarah were childless. They waited and waited and waited, sometimes doubting, sometimes struggling, but always holding on to the promise that God had made. The waiting was long and at times painful, but through it, Abraham's faith was deepened and his trust in God grew stronger. Eventually, when the time was right, God fulfilled His promise. Abraham's story shows us that even in the midst of uncertainty and delay, trusting the process is essential. It teaches us that God's timing is always perfect, and He is working behind the scenes, even when we can't see it. When we're in the middle of a process, it's often difficult to understand why things are happening the way they are. We may question why doors aren't opening, why plans are falling apart, or why our progress seems so slow. But we have to remember that God sees the bigger picture. He knows what we need and when we need it. He understands that the process is not just about reaching a destination, but about becoming the person we are meant to be. Through the process, we develop strength, resilience, patience, and character qualities that cannot be rushed and that we cannot gain without enduring some form of struggle or waiting. Trusting the process also involves letting go of control. We like to plan, to strategize, and to have everything figured out. But the reality is that some things are beyond our control, and we have to be willing to surrender them to God. Trusting the process means relinquishing our timelines and trusting that God's plan is far better than anything we could orchestrate on our own. It means believing that even when we don't see the full picture, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating everything for our good and His glory. It's not always easy, but trust grows with time. The more we trust God in the small things, the easier it becomes to trust Him in the big things. And when we look back on the journey, we often realize that the process was not just about reaching a goal, it was about learning to depend on God, growing in faith, and being shaped into the person we are called to be. So if you find yourself in a season where the process seems slow or unclear, remember that God is with you every step of the way. Trust that He is working in the waiting, growing you, preparing you, and making sure that when the time comes for you to step into the next chapter of your life, you will be ready. Trusting the process isn't about seeing everything clearly right now. It's about believing that God is in control, even when you can't see the whole picture. Keep trusting, keep moving forward, and know that in due season, your faith and perseverance will bear fruit.
There's a chair that's never moved, cup that still remembers you. Sunlight spills across the floor, just like it did before. I kept your books upon the shelf, didn't change a thing myself. Every creak inside this home whispers softly, you're not alone. There's dust on dreams, but they still shine. I've been waiting. Take your time. The porch lights burning through the rain. I'll be here when you come home again. When you come home again, the world can rest its fight. Lay down your heavy heart. You've carried far too tight. No need for words to explain. I'll hold you when you come home again. The map of years is on your face. Every scar's a line of grace. You walked the miles I dreamed you would. Now come back home, it's understood. I'll cook the stew you used to crave. We'll laugh at all the time we saved. The kettle hums a sweet refrain of a love that never washed away. You don't owe me stories told. The road has made your spirit bold. Just sit in my love and breathe again. You're safe inside these hands. When you come home again, the night feels like a song. No matter where you've been, this heart's where you belong. The years may fade, the skies may rain, but I'll still wait when you come home again. So come on home, my child. The door's still open wide. You speak in shadow.